Live from the Scripps Studios, this is 10 News.
And in just 1 hour, a vigil will get underway for the security guard who was gunned down outside an East Village homeless shelter. Good evening. I'm Steve Atkinson.
And I'm Vanessa Vanefti, in for Lindsay Pena. Ernest Buchanan was shot and killed Saturday night while returning from his dinner break. 10 News reporter Rachel Bianco joining us. And Rachel, San Diego police still searching for whomever shot him.
Vanessa, police have been looking at the surveillance cameras in this area, but they have not said if they have a suspect or any leads. Across the street, people have been stopping by all day, leaving balloons and candles in memory of the father, grandfather, and coach. Ernie Buchanan had 6 kids and 3 grandchildren. He just started working security for the Alpha Project's new bridge shelter in November. His brother says the 44-year-old was full of life.
He loved football, he loved sports, he loved participating, he loved coaching. You know, he's just a solid dude.
Buchanan was walking back from a break around 7:30 Saturday night. He was in front of the shelter when someone walked up and shot him multiple times. Police are reviewing the area's surveillance cameras.
You know, it's a horrific crime. It took somebody who's just a tremendous asset to this community. Took him away from us.
Alpha Project CEO Bob McElroy says the tent shelter on 17th and Imperial is in a tough location. Police are increasing their patrols and have set up a mobile command post across the street. Buchanan's brother understands the challenges.
It's the environment, so hopefully something will change.
This is the second tragedy the family has suffered in just months. Buchanan's son, 19-year-old Eric, was nearly killed when he was shot in the jaw during a drive-by outside a party in La Jolla last summer.
Pray that his dad's soul makes it to heaven. That's where he's at. That's the best he could give me.
And he told us that Buchanan's son is physically doing well after recovering from major injuries. The Alpha Project is raising money to pay for his dad's funeral. Again, that vigil gets started here at 6 o'clock. Reporting live in the East Village, Rachel Bianco, 10 News.
Rachel, thank you. California will ring in 2020 with more than 1,200 new laws. They touch on a range of issues from gun ownership to health care. We sat down with Assemblywoman Lorena Gonzalez to highlight some of the laws to know. With the surge of gun violence and mass shootings at an all-time high, California's new laws are cracking down. New this year, only Californians aged 21 or older will be able to buy a semi-automatic rifle. A long-fought-for diaper law also kicks in. Diapers and feminine hygiene products will no longer be taxed. Assemblywoman Lorena Gonzalez says 1 of every 3 families struggle with diaper need. The exemption will save families $10 a month.
Working class families and middle class families alike will benefit from this.
Gonzalez says diapers fall under necessities like food and medicine that are tax-free, and diapers should have never been taxed in the first place.
We have been pushing in California to try to get tax-free diapers for about 5 years now, and finally we got into the budget last year. Come January 1st, people will be able to go and purchase their diapers without paying taxes.
Also in 2020, the controversial new California law known as AB 5 kicks in. It reclassifies some independent contractors as employees. Caitlin Healy is a translator and independent contractor who says the law is killing her job. Businesses are letting her go due to the new restrictions.
I've lost my job basically overnight, and I don't have a clear path forward.
Protests sparked as the bill was debated in Sacramento, from Uber drivers to exotic dancers. Gonzalez says the bill protects workers by giving them benefits and overtime pay. Uber execs are fighting back as the new law takes effect in 2020.
They don't want the regulations to ensure that their drivers get the basic protections that they deserve. So while Uber's CEOs and executives are becoming billionaires, their drivers are being forced, some of them, to sleep in their own cars because they're not making enough money.
Minimum wage will also go up from $12 to $13 an hour for larger companies.
All right, now to a Team 10 investigation. New numbers are revealing that cases of maltreatment or abuse in our foster care system, they are on the rise. It is an issue that our investigator, Adam Rakusin, he has been tracking for months. Tonight, he pressed for answers about what's behind this concerning trend.
Children in the foster care system reporting instances of sexual abuse, emotional abuse, and neglect. That's according to new information provided to Team 10 by the California Department of Social Services. Team 10 asked the State Department for all substantiated cases of child maltreatment that happened while the child was in foster care. What they sent back was hundreds of documented instances of maltreatment in San Diego County, thousands across the state, all in just a few years.
No abuse of children in our foster system is acceptable, and an increase is indescribably unacceptable.
They're really diving deep into a lot of these issues.
Team 10 showed the numbers to San Diego County Supervisor Nathan Fletcher, the chair of a new County Child Welfare Advisory Board. In San Diego County between 2014 and 2018, the data the state gave us shows after years of decreases, the number of substantiated instances of child maltreatment that occurred in foster care is now on the rise.
I feel a tremendous sense of urgency that we have to do more and we have to do it faster.
The county's Health and Human Services Department says outcomes do fluctuate from year to year. In a statement, a spokesperson wrote in part, "It would be a mistake to assume any increase in substantiated claims means there's a corresponding increase in abuse within the foster system. Substantiated claims of abuse may reflect later disclosures of incidents that occurred prior to the child's entry into foster care, or they may involve perpetrators other than the child's caregiver."
We've assembled a Child and Family Strengthening Advisory Board, and we are moving heaven and earth to make substantive changes.
According to Fletcher, those changes include hiring more social workers and giving them better training. He says that's just the start.
Our work with our Child and Family Strengthening Advisory Council is continuing to drive changes, systemic changes, investment changes, accountability changes.
Adam Rakusin, Team 10.
So Adam tells us the numbers were not specific to who did it, so it doesn't mean the foster parent was responsible. The state says the number includes allegations of abuse which occurred while the child was on a trial home visit or runaway from foster care.
Arson investigators are trying to figure out what caused this fire at a family's home in Rolando. Flames erupted last night just before 11 at this home on Seminole Drive. When crews got there, the front porch was engulfed and the fire spread inside the home. The family made it out safely. Firefighters knocked down those flames in about 20 minutes. The fire caused about $800,000 in damage. And in Webster, firefighters kept flames from spreading to a home after a shed caught fire. This happened around 9:30 this morning on Beach Street. Firefighters say there was heavy smoke and fire coming from a shed right behind the house. They say it had combustible materials like paint thinners and construction materials. Crews worked quickly and stopped that fire from spreading. No one was hurt.
All right, turning now to our weather. It appears that we did dodge a storm that was headed towards San Diego, but it's still a little chilly outside right now.
10 News meteorologist Angelica Campos tracking those conditions. I put away the jacket and opted for the real winter coat today.
You had to get the winter coat. Oh boy. It's been a little chilly out there. We're expecting those conditions to remain that way. So the winds are going to be one of the biggest problems. The wind is actually going to be kicking up tonight and into tomorrow. Let me show you what's happening out there. A wind advisory is in effect until 10 a.m. for inland communities and also for our mountains. But our latest storm system, it's actually just to our south. You can see it spinning and is going to continue moving south towards Baja. So all that moisture is going to be moving away. If you didn't get any precipitation today, that chance will continue to go down. We do have a few leftover clouds, but the good news, those will be clearing just in time for the new year.
Angelica, thank you. Tonight, winter weather alerts, they do remain in effect for dozens of states as the countdown for New Year's Eve begins. Look at all that. A massive winter storm. It has left an icy mess in the Northeast with millions traveling for the holidays. In Maine, icy roads caused crucial stretches of the I-95 to be shut down, causing backups for miles.
If you don't have to be out on the roads today, just stay inside and wait for this storm to finish.
Cindy says it best. Back in the Midwest, the mayor of Fargo, North Dakota, is calling this one of the worst storms they've had in years. More than 20 inches of snow have fallen across the Dakotas, making driving virtually impossible. In Minnesota, similar conditions have led to hundreds of crashes and at least 2 fatalities.
New information is emerging tonight about the parishioner who shot and killed a gunman who opened fire inside a Texas church yesterday morning, killing 2 people.
But as ABC's Romina Puga reports, the pistol-packing parishioner says he doesn't consider himself a hero.
A Sunday service in Texas interrupted after a gunman seen here in the service live stream opened fire. The gunshot sparked panic in the pews, but 6 seconds later, members of the church security team returned fire, killing the shooter, who has now been identified as Keith Thomas Kananen. 2 congregants were killed, including Tony Wallace, a deacon at the church.
The citizens who were inside that church undoubtedly saved 242 other parishioners.
Church member Jack Wilson is the one who shot and killed the gunman. A former reserve deputy, he'd been teaching other congregants how to shoot as part of the West Freeway Church of Christ's security measures.
I don't see myself as a hero. I see myself as doing what needed to be done to take out the evil threat.
Today, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton praised the state's gun laws, which include a measure enacted this year that affirms the right of licensed handgun holders to carry a weapon in places of worship, unless the facility bans weapons.
We can't prevent every crazy person from pulling a gun, but we can be prepared like this church was.
Investigators, including the FBI, are still working to determine a motive for the gunman, but say he had been to the church several times before and was arrested in 2016 for unlawful possession of a weapon in New Jersey. His sister says she believes her brother went on a suicide mission. Romina Puga, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Senator Bernie Sanders is fit enough for the presidency following his heart attack. The 78-year-old had a heart attack about 3 months ago. His primary care doctor and 2 cardiologists released letters today stating that Sanders is in good health and is fit to serve as president should he be elected. Sanders is taking medications that are routine after a heart attack, including a blood pressure medicine. We are about 2 months away from the California primary election, and be aware, if you registered with a political party, you can only vote for that party's presidential candidate come March 3rd. If you want to vote for a candidate in another party, you need to re-register with that party. You can only vote for president in the primary if you are registered with a political party. If registering to vote for the very first time, that deadline is coming up. It's February 18th.